Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, are you making the most of your health insurance? We'll prescribe a healthy dose of advice. Mistakes with your money can cost you. We'll offer options to avoid failure with your finances. Then, we'll help you work on your wellness. Plus, we'll hear the story of George Steinbrenner's winning stay right here in our hometown. And should you take the long view when paying for long-term care? We'll add up the options.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. The Affordable Care Act was passed 5 years ago. A lot has changed in the health insurance industry as a result, and that includes Ohio's own Medical Mutual. But today, Christine Taylor is going to share what hasn't changed. Christine is the Senior Community Outreach Specialist at Medical Mutual of Ohio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coverage options and requirements and enrollment deadlines and tax penalties, it seems like everything has changed. So what hasn't changed?
It's true, all of those things have impacted the way that Medical Mutual operates, but we're happy to say that a couple of things remain the same. First and most importantly, are offering the best insurance options available for you and your family, but beyond that, our commitment to the community. Philanthropy and volunteerism are in our DNA as a company. Yeah, and it's also who we are as individual citizens, living, working, and playing right here in the state of Ohio.
Okay, well, can you give us some examples of what you mean?
Sure. Medical Mutual does a lot and gives back to the community throughout the year, but the heart of our charitable giving lies in our employee volunteer group. We call it SHARE. It's an acronym that stands for Serve, Help, Aid, Reach, and Educate. And each year this group coordinates more than 50 volunteer projects,
wow.
enlisting the help of nearly half of Medical Mutual's 2,500 employees.
Pretty impressive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They host back-to-school drives for Volunteers of America, donate blood to the Red Cross. They host fundraisers at our offices throughout the state to support multiple children at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And they raise awareness and a substantial amount of funds for many charities year-round.
All right, so it's really wonderful, and it's not just the employees. There are commitments that the company has to the community, including one of our favorites. It's the Outstanding Senior Volunteer Awards.
That's right. We host these events each year in Columbus, Toledo, and right here in Cleveland. And in fact, next month we'll be back on the show to share with your viewers how they can nominate someone special in their life for these awards, which take place this year in April and May. So the awards themselves honor senior citizens who selflessly volunteer their time and talents to their communities. Our award winners have made a remarkable impact on the world around them. Also, each October, we honor our breast cancer survivors with our annual breast cancer awareness events. So I'm sure we'll be back in the fall to share our exciting lineup of everything that we have in store for Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2016.
All right, and you're educating us on what you guys take care of, and another of your benefits, I guess, or outreaches is education.
That's right. We take mentorship and scholarships very seriously. Each year we have volunteers working with College Now of Greater Cleveland and Junior Achievement. We also issue scholarships to graduating high school seniors throughout the year. Last year we were able to award 180 scholarships to some very impressive young adults. And on top of that, we also provided 14 four-year scholarships to Neomed, Northeast Ohio Medical University, for their Doctor of Pharmacy program. And what's great about this is that the students have in turn agreed to, upon graduation, serve in underserved communities right here in Ohio.
Sounds like a great plan.
It really is.
Works both ways.
Yes, yes.
It's so great to hear about all these good works. And the best part, they make for a healthier community in so many ways. My thanks to Christine Taylor for reaching out to us to share how Medical Mutual reaches out to the community.
Find out more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting their website, www.medmutual.com/2015options, or call 1-866-488-3266. Next, common money mistakes. But first, this turn of the 20th century technology was the talk of the town, yet it didn't land on the president's desk until 50 years after it was invented. So what item took so long to arrive in the Oval Office? It's sure to ring a bell, and we'll call out the answer when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Presidents Hayes and Hoover both took to the technology of the telephone. Hayes installed the first phone in the telegraph room in the White House in 1877, though there were very few other phones to call. Then, more than 50 years later, Hoover decided to have one on his desk, linking the Oval Office to other telephone lines.
We look at our Act 3, retirement, as a time to enjoy life and explore new possibilities. But let's face it, that all costs money. If you don't plan properly, you could pay the price emotionally and financially. Jim Lineweaver is here to highlight common money mistakes people make and aid us in avoiding them. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's good to see you.
So the first mistake that you want to talk about is not estimating how long retirement income has to last.
Right. The biggest issue people face is running out of money. So what people unfortunately do a lot of times is they don't budget their retirement in the correct manner because they'll try to get all their fixed expenses in and everything, but you're going to have some unforeseen circumstances pop up. It may be with the kids. It might be something where a health problem spikes and you got to take care of it. So you got to build some buffers into that because the last thing you want to do is run out of money in retirement.
Absolutely. And you mentioned kids, so that can happen even before you retire.
It really can. You know, the kids, you thought you spent enough money with them raising them and everything, and you put them through school.
Lots of money.
And then, God forbid, you know, they kind of never leave you. So, but family's always the most important. So you're going to make sure you help out the kids. The key here is that you don't want to get them in front of your retirement plan. I recently ran into a client that's trying to help his kids, and they have $400,000 in college debts. So how do you juggle that with your retirement and not derail your own retirement? Because that miracle of compound interest really is a miracle, and you shorten that time, it's going to be harder for your own retirement. So it's all about a balance.
Okay. How about home sweet home? Time to sell?
It could be. It just depends. You know, if you had a real big home and you had a big family, maybe it's time to downsize. I have other people that have their kids that are scattered all over the country, and so now they're actually renting here, and they're renting a couple other times a part of the year to visit their other kids. It really just depends on your own situation, but you don't have to worry about necessarily paying off your mortgage by the time you hit retirement. I know you want to paint your door red and tell your neighbors it's paid off, but it's not necessarily bad if you don't. So don't go crazy trying to make sure you do that, because there are some possible tax deductions and other things that you can take advantage of.
Okay. Another problem that you want to talk about is not properly naming your beneficiaries.
Yeah, this is a huge mistake, and unfortunately, if something happens to you, you won't get a second chance. So if there's ever been a divorce, if your kids got married, if you set up a trust, a lot of people don't take the time to take care of all their accounts, either titling them correctly for avoiding probate or also putting the proper beneficiary. So if there's ever any life-changing events, or at least on an annual basis, double check your beneficiaries, make sure they're exactly what you want to do.
Okay. And I'm sure taxes are a concern.
Big concern. We recently had a client, they was actually they were reinvesting some non-IRA money, but paying taxes on it, and then taking money out of a tax-deferred account. So they were kind of paying more taxes on money they weren't even spending. So this is where you really need to coordinate the tax side and the investment side, because the last thing you want to do is give money away to the government, at least I think. I don't know about you, but
oh, yeah, me too.
I don't want to give more money than we absolutely have to, because because it'd be then there for you that rainy day or for your kids and stuff in the future. So don't pay $1 more than you absolutely have to when it comes to taxes.
So I'm sure there's lots of ways to mess up your money, and we haven't even looked at all of them, but you have some help, correct?
I do. We have an education program coming up. So we're just touching base on the surface of these. There are a lot more that we want to go over in a lot more detail. So we have an education program coming up on Tuesday, February 16th at 1 p.m. and also Thursday, February 18th at 6 p.m. And there's no cost to your viewers, but they do fill up fast. So if they're interested, please have them give us a call as soon as possible.
All right, sounds good. When you retire, your money matters even more than it does now. Learn how to protect it. Attend one of Jim's seminars or give him a call. The number's next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next, a wellness checkup. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Get out of your love nest and take your love bird on a winter bird walk this Valentine's Day. On February 14th, from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m., enjoy wandering through different parts of the Shaker Parklands as you focus on finding a few feathered friends. A little bird told me you can find out more by calling the Nature Center at Shaker Lakes at 216-321-5935 or fly to their website, www.shakerlakes.org.
There are close to 2.5 million people living with this condition, and we spend $185 billion on the care for this disease. Plus, it's the 6th most common cause of death. All those numbers add up to one devastating diagnosis: dementia. Dr. Matthew Franz is here with details. Dr. Franz is in the family medicine at Metro Health. Cleveland Family Medicine, yeah, I guess I was trying to say.
It's all good.
So when we say dementia, do you really mean Alzheimer's?
Well, Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Dementia in and of itself has many different types of diagnoses. We have vascular dementia, which could be from decreased oxygen supply to different parts of the brain. There's dementia that can form from Lewy body dementia. It's a different type of dementia. Parkinsonism can cause dementia eventually. But dementia in and of itself, the majority of the cases, about 80% of them would be considered Alzheimer's dementia.
So what causes this dementia?
That's a good question. If we're talking Alzheimer's in and of itself, we have no idea what causes Alzheimer's to form. We do know that when you look at the brain, when they do tissue sections of the brain in people with Alzheimer's, we can see certain characteristics. They have these beta amyloid plaques between the nerve cells, and inside the nerve cells themselves, they have these amyloid spindles. And those are very indicative of Alzheimer's disease. In and of themselves, we don't know how they form or why they form.
Oh, yeah. So, but all of these dementia issues can come out. Now, if I can't remember where I put my keys, or I forget my grocery list at home, does that mean I have to be worried about dementia?
No, certainly not. Because if it was a key issue, I would have had dementia at 16, or if we couldn't find your wallet.
Yes, my children would all have dementia.
Yeah, that's true. I think that real warnings, there's warning signs for dementia. The Alzheimer's Society does have those posted, and you can actually go to them, and we'll show you them here. But they're all forms of a loss of cognition, and cognition is your life experiences that you learn that help you make judgments or insight or reason and logic. There's different forms of memory. Where there's semantic memory, there's affective memory. Semantic is the first one that we lose, and it's your ability to do complex things. Read a map or do a recipe. The last part of memory that we lose is affective, which is sounds and smells and things like that will elicit memory.
Wow. So there's all kinds of different symptoms. So if we see some of these symptoms, how do we treat this? Well,
first of all, treatment of Alzheimer's is to eliminate all the other indicator or the other things that may cause dementia or memory loss. So first, obviously we eliminate, we do a history and physical, and we look at all the causative things that we can treat, the combinations of medications, as we talked about before, the loss of circulation to the brain, the thyroid, hyponatremia, all those other things that we can fix. But as far as treatment of Alzheimer's disease, there really isn't a treatment. There are medications out there that will slow the progression down. And I think if you find out that you have someone that has Alzheimer's disease, it's very important to start those early, because that'll kind of slow the progression down so that you can keep them out of extended care facilities and keep them at home for longer periods of time. So, you know, the diagnosis is made not only on physical and history, but on memory testing and things like that we do for the...
Okay. And it's probably going to get more common, right? As people
Alzheimer's is...
live longer?
Yeah, well, as our population ages, as the baby boomers tend to get older. By 2050, now we have approximately 85,000 to 100,000 Alzheimer's patients, probably more. By 2020, we're going to have 600,000 more diagnoses a year, and by 2050, up close to 1 million new diagnosed patients with Alzheimer's.
So what can we do to try to hold it off?
Well, the things we can do is you take better care of yourself. Obviously, you can, you get your history and physical, you watch your diet, you decrease the amount of trans fats and fats in your diet. Maybe, they say that vitamin E is a help. Decrease alcohol intake, get good sleep at night. Make sure you're taking better care of yourself. Be social. Don't lose that, those social interactions, because that's hugely important.
All right, great advice. There's no easy way to say it. Dementia is a frightening disease, but there are proactive steps you can take. Just like your body, your brain needs a healthy lifestyle to keep in shape. So do it. Follow Dr. Franz's advice. And if you're concerned, use the information that's coming up next to learn more. My thanks to Dr. Franz for joining us today.
Thank you.
To learn more, call Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or log on to www.metrohealth.org. Next, Playing Ball with George Steinbrenner.
It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're here to show you how to work the lower abdominals and even the hip flexors. This is an excellent exercise that's going to help strengthen that core everybody's talking about. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, we're going to start lying flat on the ground. Here in the studio, we have our exercise mats out. You at home, go ahead, grab a spot on the floor and try this one out. We're going to lay flat. Make sure you keep your head back. We want our hands to the side just for a little support. And all we're going to do is we're going to keep our right leg nice and stiff, and we're going to bring it up to about a 90-degree angle, okay? We're going to drop it back down. Right before it touches, try to bring it straight back up. All right, we're going to shoot for 12 to 15 repetitions, and then we can go ahead and switch sides. Excellent. How you feeling, Lori?
Oh, feel the burn.
There
stretch.
you go.
Yes.
You're on your way to a stronger core. All right, slow and controlled movements, everybody. Remember to breathe. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
Before George Steinbrenner moved north to New York Yankees, he tried to play ball with an amazing team right here in Cleveland. Bill Livingston tells the tale of opposing personalities, highly sought-after players, a chance at the big leagues, and capturing a national championship in the book, George Steinbrenner's Pipe Dream, the ABL champion Cleveland Pipers. Now, in addition to being an author, Bill is also a sports columnist for The Plain Dealer. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So it sounds like in this probably situation, which in the book, there's a lot more action going on off the courts than on the courts.
Well, George was the same person he was with the Yankees, overbearing, temperamental, hard to work for. He just didn't have access to the money, the shipbuilding money on the Great Lakes that his father controlled. So he really had to bob and weave and bluster and flim-flam his way. When he bought the team, it was dead broke. And they, he had an inherent conflict with the coach, John McClendon, who was the first black coach of an integrated professional team since World War II, who was not a big name. George wanted big names. He had signed Larry Siegfried from Ohio State, and eventually he would sign Jerry Lucas, who was the Larry Bird of his era.
But the coach was real kind of quiet,
well,
nice, completely different than George.
He was a black man in Nashville, Tennessee in the 1950s at Tennessee State, so he was not a confrontational person. And George perceived that as lack of commitment and lack of caring, when actually it was his coping mechanism.
And John said, though, that he wasn't a racist.
No, John's great quote was, I've been asked many times, if George Steinbrenner was a racist. He was not. He treated us all the same, black and white, like dogs. He was not anti-black, he was anti-human.
Oh, jeez. And despite all of this, this team, the Cleveland Pipers, they were one-season wonders. They won this big national championship.
Well, they brought Dick Barnett in from the Syracuse Nats, who had played for McClendon in college. And Barnett was a member of the 1970 Knicks team, a very good player, probably the best player in the league. It was the first league with a three-point shot. They had several players from Tennessee State that knew Coach McClendon's system. And Connie Hawkins was in the league. Basketball fans will know him. You know, the first LeBron James, really. He was the MVP.
I even recognize that name.
Yeah, at 19. And they did win the championship after they were almost expelled for not paying their debts, after they lost a first-round playoff series in which Steinbrenner withheld paychecks. He was so furious. He really probably didn't have the money also. The players threatened to revolt and boycott a game. You know, when I got further and further into it, I said, this is just great material. You know, it really
you can't
is.
Make it up.
8 years before the Cavaliers and a championship team.
Wow.
You know, and when they signed Lucas, they also were going to merge with the runner-up team in the league, and they were extended an invitation to the NBA. They could have gone into the NBA, except they couldn't meet their indemnity payments to the Cincinnati Royals, and George just didn't have the money. You know.
But then eventually the ABL folded.
It folded pretty much after, it was pretty much doomed after the Pipers folded. It lasted until New Year's Eve of the next season, which was 1962-63 season. They didn't get into 63. And they just declared the team that was in first place champions. And actually it was the Kansas City Steers, and they got permission from the University of Texas to get a ring that was sort of like the Longhorn logo. It cost $35. Oh have you seen Super Bowl rings these days?
Oh, yeah, little bit different.
Even NBA rings?
Yeah, it's a little different. So we shouldn't forget the Pipers, huh?
No, the reason I did the book, I think it's a forgotten era in basketball and in Cleveland history. And since only the Browns have won a championship, and that was 52 years ago now, let's not forget the Pipers. Let's remember the Pipers.
Absolutely. And we've just skimmed the surface of the fascinating tale of the Cleveland Pipers that Bill Livingston has written about in George Steinbrenner's Pipe Dream. To read the whole story, get the book by using the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Bill for a winning interview.
Thank you very much.
George Steinbrenner's Pipe Dream is available at local bookstores or by calling Kent State University Press at 800-247-6553 and learn more by visiting www.kentstateuniversitypress.com. Next, paying now for long-term care later.
Here at Metro Health, you know you matter when it matters most. Here, we are the city's best at preparing for the world's worst. Here, we are the only verified burn center in Ohio for adults and children. Here, you'll find exceptional clinicians with extraordinary hearts. So the work we do here at Metro Health makes an impact here, out here, and right here. Metro Health, we're here for you, for all of you.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back shortly to talk about the cost of long-term care. Many seniors will require long-term care. Unfortunately, nursing homes, assisted livings, and other care options are expensive. The U.S. Department of Labor views long-term care expenses as the greatest uninsured risk that Americans face today. My protective law partner, Mike Solomon, is here to discuss ways to plan to protect your assets. Okay, so we discussed 3 ways our viewers can protect their own financial assets by using other methods by which to pay for these long-term care. costs. So the first is long-term care insurance. What's that?
Okay, well, long-term care insurance, it's a policy, an insurance policy that pays the cost, some of the cost, if you're in a long-term care facility or maybe assisted living. Most policies, when you buy them, they'll pay a certain amount per day, maybe $150 a day. But what you can do, the trouble is, if you don't have insurance and you have to apply for Medicaid, if you're a single person, you can only have $1,500. So if you buy a long-term care policy, if you get a special one, it's called a partnership long-term care insurance policy. It's a partnership between the state and the insurance company. Let's say you buy a $300,000 insurance policy. It shelters $300,000 of your assets. So even though you have to spend down to $1,500, this policy says you can keep $300. It still pays your expenses $300,000 worth, and then you could qualify for Medicaid. So it's a real good option for some people.
All right, sounds good. The second way is veterans benefits.
Now, we've talked about this on the show recently, and there's the VA program, it's aid and attendance, and what you can get if you're a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, you can get a monthly check to help offset some of the cost for assisted living or long-term care. Now, to qualify for that, you have to be a veteran, 90 days in the service, plus at least one of those days it had to be during a wartime. You had to be honorably discharged, age 65. And they also have some income limits and asset limits. It's a program that many people aren't aware of. And as we mentioned last time on the show, they may be changing the rules, so you may want to get in under the wire.
And the third way quickly is Medicaid.
Well, Medicaid, again, we've talked about a lot. As you know, that's a government insurance program. It covers all the costs, basically all the costs of long-term care and certain other costs. If you're single, you can only keep $1,500. Married couple can keep a little over $23,000 up to $119,000, plus a home, plus a car. The point is you need to do planning. You need to know how to handle it. There's that 5-year look-back rule, which is very complicated. But the important thing to note, even after someone is in a facility, even if they haven't done any planning, they can still do some planning to save some of the money.
And that's good to know.
Yes.
Taking advantage of one or more of these options does require planning, and the sooner the better. However, you do need to consult a certified elder law attorney for help. A mistake can be really costly. For more information, check out this month's issue of Aging Answers, a supplement to the Northeast Ohio Parent Magazine, or call Mike. His number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure and join us next week. But until then, please be sure to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.